All right, FOIL. So most of the time that we have FOILed, we've had conjugate pairs. But today, not everything's going to be a conjugate pair. So it's like 2 sine of x plus 1, 3 sine of x minus 2. Okay? So this is no different than the FOILing you learned back in Algebra 1. Okay? First, outer, and last. So what's first times first? 2 sine of x times 3 sine of x. 2 times 3 is 6. Sine times sine is sine squared. Okay. Outers. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 sine of x. Inners. 1 times 3 is 3 sine of x. Last times last, negative 2. And then, as a general rule of FOIL, the middle two terms generally were like terms. These are like terms. Be careful when you add sine and sine. It's not sine squared when you add them. Okay? It's just like a variable. Like negative 4x plus 3x is negative 1x. Negative 4 sine of x plus 3 sine of x is negative 1 sine of x, or just negative sine of x in this case. And that's where we're going to stop. Okay? You're not going to try to factor that out. When it comes to next Monday, we're going to go in the reverse. We're going to factor these. Okay? But all we're doing today is FOILing. Now, if we have cosine of x minus secant of x quantity squared. Okay? Cosine of x minus secant of x quantity squared. Okay? When I have a quantity squared, since way back when in my days of teaching Algebra 1, I always said, don't try to learn the magic rule to this. Just write it twice in FOIL. So you write it the exact same way. Don't write conjugate pairs. Because when it is squared, you're taking the exact same thing times each other. Oops. Come back here. All right. So cosine times cosine is cosine squared. And then you have outers, which is cosine times secant minus, not plus. Inners is secant times cosine, or cosine times secant. And last times last is secant squared. What's cosine times secant? What is secant? 1 over cosine. So if we take cosine times 1 over cosine, what happens? They cancel to be 1. So really I have cosine squared of x minus 1 minus another 1 plus secant squared of x. So the way I'll write this in the end is cosine squared of x plus secant squared of x minus 2, and I'll leave it like that. You don't have to change secant squared into 1 over cosine squared. That just kind of makes it a little messy. Okay? So, when you have cosine and secant, or when you have sine and cosecant, those are what's of each other? Reciprocal functions. Good job, Dale. So they're reciprocal functions, and reciprocals always multiply to be 1. Okay? Tangent and cotangent are reciprocal functions. All right. Let's do this one. Let's say we have tangent squared of x plus cotangent squared of x squared. Tangent squared plus cotangent squared. Okay? So if we FOIL this, we need to write it twice. so we're going to FOIL. What's tangent squared times tangent squared? Tangent to the fourth. Outers. Tangent squared times cotangent squared. Do I have to write out tangent squared times cotangent squared? Or what can I just go straight to? 1. I can go straight to 1 at this point. Okay, because you understand that they're conjugates. Same with cotangent plus times tangent. 1 plus cotangent squared. Cotangent's not squared, but to the fourth. So it's tangent to the fourth of x plus cotangent to the fourth x plus 2. Okay, so all we're doing is FOILing today. All we're doing is FOILing. So let's look at So we have 11 through 22 all. Page number 172.